I immigrated from a communist country in 1980. I was 6 years old, didn't speak English, didn't understand the culture. We were poor, we were broke, and we lived in Section 8 housing when we came here. Now, growing up, I was bullied, and I was called a foreigner, and I was told you better effing go back to your own country. And so you can imagine you have a chip on your shoulder, you have a lot of anger, you have a lot of rage. And I grew up as that guy. And the truth of the matter is I'm not proud of this, but I got involved with, I was on the other side of the law for a while. Me and a few friends would do some carjackings, and one particular day we were carjacking someone. We ended up getting in a fight. Little did we know that this guy was a gang member and he had 13 other buddies around him, and I ended up getting hospitalized and was bleeding and peeing blood. And I realized in that moment that, you know what, being on this side of the law is serving up a lot of karmic justice for me. And if I want to actually live to see the age of 30, I better do something different. I knew that wasn't the man that my father raised. I knew that wasn't the man that my father brought to this country to, hey, go and carjack people and get in a police helicopter chase. Like, that's not why we ended up here. And so I knew deep down inside, I'm letting my father down, I'm letting my mom down, but I also had so much anger and rage, I didn't know how to channel that. I gotta tell you, one of the greatest things that happened was two things. One, getting that beat down by 13 gangbangers that got me put into the hospital and really helped me realize that this path is gonna ultimately kill you. I wasn't happy doing what I was doing. I was sick to my stomach when I was being an idiot asshole, but I didn't know any better until I started to get mentored by this guy who said, hey, I see more in you than you see in yourself. What a shame. And he would have some tough talks with me, and that really made me wake up and realize that maybe I have greater potential and it's time to start reaching for it. It was like this slow U-turn that I was making. But that was the beginning. That was the first domino that made me realize, like, holy crap, I see what's been happening. The more bad I do, the more bad happens to me. It's just that was the biggest bad thing that happened to me, where you try carjacking someone and he's got a few other cars behind him of gang members, and actually later that night they came and found us because they knew exactly who we were, where we went. They planned out an attack and they executed on their attack. And I could have very easily been dead. And so that day, that night, I realized I've got to do something. And that's when I started to listen to the audiobooks. Well, I guess at the time it was audio CDs of guys like Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, and started to understand that if you do good, good things will happen. You do bad, bad things will happen. That there's this universal law of attraction, and that you can actually be persuasive, you can sell, you can market, you can influence people, and you don't just have to bully your way through life. And so from the time of that beating, there was like this 2 to 3 year evolution where I said, I'm gonna become an entrepreneur. And by my late 20s, 27, 28, is when I started to open up my personal training gyms, and really was like a full-fledged entrepreneur. And that other life was almost like a memory to me.